Hey y'all, it's me, Dree. So today I'm getting that forward movement is creating a shift in this energy field. Because when one person stops waiting, well, the other person may be forced to recognize what their lack of movement has actually cost them. Now let's get into this message. We start with the Page of Swords reverse, the Knight of Swords, and the Ace of Cups reverse. So, starting with this Page of Swords reverse, this card is about playing mind games, having nothing to say, not speaking your truth, and unanswered questions. So right away, I'm getting that the collective has been dealing with somebody who was not communicating honestly or directly. This person may have been playing mind games. They may have acted like they had nothing to say, or they may have avoided speaking their truth altogether. And I'm getting that because this person would not communicate clearly. The collective, y'all were left with unanswered questions. But then we move into this Knight of Swords. In this card, this is about seizing the day. This can be impulsivity. This can be impatience. This could also be focus. And with this card, I'm getting that the collective fell into this Knight of Swords energy first. I'm getting that y'all seized the day. Y'all stopped waiting for this person to provide the answers you were seeking. And y'all stopped allowing those unanswered questions to keep y'all standing still. I'm getting that y'all moved forward. Y'all engaged with life again. And y'all became focused on where y'all were going instead of continuing to wait for somebody else to decide what they wanted. So the collective takes on the forward movement. Y'all become focused, daring, and willing to move. But I'm also getting here that stepping into this energy caused the other person to take on the shadow side of this night, because once y'all disengaged, this other person became impulsive and impatient, and I'm getting that they began to feel like they needed to act right away because y'all's forward movement created urgency for the other person. Because when the collective was still waiting, I'm getting this person may have believed they had more time. But once the collective seized the day and began moving forward, well, the possibility of losing the collective, that became real for this person. And then the first column ends with this Ace of Cups reverse. And this card is about taking time for self-love. It's about tuning into your intuition, taking care of yourself, and holding back. So I'm getting the collective's forward movement was not only about leaving something behind. This was an act of self-love. Y'all stopped waiting because continuing to wait, that was no longer taking care of yourselves. Y'all began tuning into y'all's intuition. Y'all began paying attention to what y'all's emotional body needed. And y'all may have recognized that holding yourselves inside of someone else's silence was preventing y'all from fully engaging with y'all's own life. So yeah, the collective moved. The collective chose themselves. And y'all began pouring y'all's emotional energy back into your own healing. And that brings us into this center column. We have the Three of Swords reverse, the Five of Cups, and Judgment. So here, this Three of Swords reverse is about overcoming sorrow. It's about letting go, healing, and recovery. So I'm getting here that the collective did not just move forward physically. No, y'all began overcoming the sorrow. Y'all began letting go of the pain connected to this situation. Y'all began healing, releasing, and recovering. And I'm getting that y'all may even be reaching a place of forgiveness. But let me say, forgiveness does not automatically mean reopening the connection. No, forgiveness means that y'all are no longer allowing the sorrow to control y'all's emotional experiences as you move forward. Because y'all are becoming hopeful again. Y'all are becoming optimistic about where y'all's life can go now. And y'all are beginning to recover from the version of this situation that left y'all waiting for answers. And then we move into this Five of Cups, and I'm getting here that this belongs to the other person. This card is about grief, loss, emotional baggage, and resisting change. So I'm getting, as the collective begins overcoming the sorrow, this other person begins experiencing the loss. And I'm getting that this loss has made them reflective. Because the collective disengaging, that created space. And instead of that space, inside of that space, this other person has had to look back at what exactly happened. They may be reflecting on things they did not say. They may be recognizing the mind games, the inconsistency, or the unanswered questions that they left behind. They may be looking at the emotional baggage they carried into the connection. And they may be recognizing how their own resistance to change contributed to y'all moving forward without them. What I'm getting the most here is that this Five of Cups is not only grief, but it is reflection through grief. So this other person is beginning to understand the value of y'all, because they can now feel the collective's absence. And then we end this column on Judgment. And I'm getting that this judgment is shared energy. But I'm also getting that each person here is interacting with this Judgment card differently. For y'all, this is awakening, evaluation, rebirth, and renewal. So I'm getting the collective is evaluating. Y'all are looking at the entire situation through the lens of who y'all have become. Y'all are considering what y'all have learned, what y'all had to overcome, and whether this connection belongs in the new spiritual story y'all are creating for yourselves. Because y'all have moved forward. Y'all have chosen self-love. Y'all have begun healing. And now y'all are evaluating from that new position. But as far as this other person goes, well, this judgment, that's action, decision, awakening, renewal. So I'm getting this person is making a decision. And I'm getting that their decision is to move towards the collective. Because they are impulsive and they are ready to take action. So what I'm getting here is that the reflection of this, that this Five of Cups created, that reflection is leading somewhere, because this person is not only sitting in grief, they are evaluating what the loss of the collective means. And that evaluation is pushing them toward movement. And again, this connects back to the shadow side of this Knight of Swords. Because this person, they can feel the urgency. They may feel like they need to act immediately. They may feel like the window, the opportunity with the collective is closing in on them. And maybe it is. This person may also believe that if they do not move now, that y'all will continue moving further away from them. So yeah, both people are arriving at judgment from different places. Then we move into the last column. We have the Eight of Swords, the Queen of Wands reverse, the Nine of Coins reverse. So, with the Eight of Swords, this is self-entrapment. This could be negative thoughts, hands tied. This is somebody feeling paralyzed. So even though this other person is reaching a decision point, I'm getting they may still be mentally trapped around how to carry it out. They may feel like their hands are still tied. They may be paralyzed by the possibility that the collective has already moved too far forward. Or they may be caught in the negative thoughts about how the collective will respond to them. And I'm getting this is where the urgency comes from, because this other person is feeling the loss. They are reflecting on what happened and they want to act. But they may also be trapped inside of their own thoughts about whether they still have an opportunity here. Meanwhile, the story continues and we land in the Queen of Wands reverse. And this card is my way or the highway. This is not easily moved. This is strong will. And I'm getting this is the collective. Because y'all, you're not paralyzed. Y'all are moving. Y'all have many irons in the fire right now. Y'all have re-engaged with your own lives again. And y'all have responsibilities. Y'all have goals and interests and other things requiring y'all's time and attention. So y'all are no longer sitting still inside of the unanswered questions. And now y'all are not easily moved. Y'all are strong-willed. And y'all have already made the difficult choice to move forward anyways. So I'm getting the other person's urgency does not automatically become y'all's emergency. The other person may feel like they need to act immediately, but the collective is still going to evaluate what comes towards them, because this Queen of Wands reversed, this queen knows where she is going. She is not going to abandon her forward movement simply because somebody else finally became reflective. And then the whole message ends on this 9 of Coins reversed. And this card says, you are enough. It says, stand up for what you deserve and stop undervaluing yourself. This card is also about self-worth. So ultimately, the collective's evaluation comes down to how they feel about themselves. I'm getting y'all may have worked too hard for this connection in the past. Y'all may have poured in emotional energy without receiving the same level of effort in return from this person. Y'all may have undervalued yourselves while waiting for someone else to communicate with y'all clearly. But this 9 of Coins reverse, this reminds you, y'all are enough. Y'all do not need this person's movement to prove y'all's value. Y'all do not need this person's grief to validate the impact they had. And y'all do not need this person's return to make y'all's healing meaningful. This other person may be reflecting. They may be making a decision and they may be preparing to take action, but the collective still has to stand up for what they deserve, because moving towards the collective is not the same thing as being prepared to meet the collective where they are standing right now. And sitting at the bottom of this entire message, we have the summer solstice. So this card is the pinnacle of success. It is a timing card of a few weeks, and it urges you to let go of control and to celebrate life. So I'm getting here that the collective is being asked by the universe to continue engaging with life, to keep moving forward, to celebrate how far y'all have come, and to let go of the need to control how this situation unfolds, because the collective's movement, that's already creating change. The collective, y'all did not have to force this other person into reflection. Y'all's absence did that. Y'all did not have to convince this other person of y'all's value. The loss of access revealed it. And y'all did not have to chase a decision. This other person is now reaching one because y'all stopped waiting. And with the timing of this card saying a few weeks and getting there may be movement surrounding this situation sooner than we're expecting. But the pinnacle of success here is not simply that the other person takes action. No, the success is that the collective has reached a place where they can evaluate that action without abandoning yourselves. Because sometimes people do not become reflective until they experience the absence of what they once had access to. Isn't that the truth? Sometimes they do not recognize the weight of their silence until the other person waiting for their answer stops listening for it. And sometimes the most powerful thing the collective can do is not force a conclusion, but simply to move forward, to heal, to choose self-love, and to allow the distance y'all create to reveal what words never could. The other person may now be facing the consequences of their own hesitation. But the collective, y'all, you're facing a different question. It's not whether this person finally sees y'all's value. It's about whether the action coming towards y'all reflects the value y'all now see within yourselves. Because I'm getting, if this action towards you is anything less than that, then it's not aligned. And with all of these cards in the positions where they are, I'm getting the most that y'all already know this. And that's the most powerful part of this message, to me anyways. So let's forget about this other energy. Let them sulk for their shortcomings. Let's let go control. Celebrate our lives. Have fun and enjoy summer. This card says summer on it. So this time, it's now, collective. That's the message that I have for y'all today. So if this one landed, make sure to like my message. Leave me a comment and follow along. And remember, where there is love, there's light. I'll see y'all again real soon.